Oh my fuck.
Alright.
Oh my fuck.
Oh my fuck.
Tell me about your fuck.
I'm gonna go ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, and their mother, and their grandmother, and their dead grandmother. Don't want to discount any grandmothers out there.
Welcome back, everybody, and their previous 6
going
generations.
to be a very interesting episode that will mostly come down to the arguments, I think, for everybody. But there might also be some pre-fight biases by all the judges here, because today is Garrus from which Mass Effect? 3. Mass Effect 3. And Crazy Hands from Smash Brothers.
Melee.
I was gonna say which one because he does get more power. So Melee is original appearance.
This is gonna be a tough one to judge. Now, who is the higher seed?
It looks like Garrus is by a lot.
Alex,
Yeah.
heads or tails?
You know what?
Tails. You know what, Sean? I'll let you pick the coin.
Ooh.
Oh, all right, jump back in.
We're going with a euro.
Yeah, did you guys ever have my recording from the intro thing? Because it didn't seem like.
Well, you're just gonna have to watch the video that was uploaded at noon today.
Oh,
The answer is yes.
You
The
got-
second half worked. The first half didn't. So the funny
Oh,
thing
I
is
thought it was
where
the opposite, actually.
right? Yeah, something weird about that. But
All right, we got 5 brought back.
and it says he's recording.
Even though it's not coming?
Sweet.
You know what, Foxtrot? I would like to give you props for when it came up and said your browser wasn't letting you record, you went and fixed the issue, unlike some people who were late to fixing their issue. I don't want to name names. At all.
Also, I'd also like to also say, Joe, you need to speak up a little bit when you're speaking.
Yeah.
Like on at least on my end, I can't speak for Ryan. I can barely hear you.
Where's the microphone that they're hearing from? It's on the laptop.
Up there, yeah.
Okay.
But
Does this sound better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
It's good we've touched on this. Only 4 matches in.
Hey, we only finished the first corner of the bracket, so perfect timing.
Now, Sean has selected the 1 cent euro. Alex,
and I picked tails.
Here we go. Here we go.
tails!
Fuck
We
yeah!
finally got a tails win.
It's only European tails that works differently.
And you know what? I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
take
get
it.
that
I'm not even gonna
Oh,
defer.
He's leading
I'm
in.
going straight in because I
Oh.
am.
It's
Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect 3. So,
Tell us about him.
alright, so the important thing to note is that Garrus in Mass Effect 3 means that he has survived some crazy shit. In the first game, if you recruit him, he joins you in your fight against Saren, an ancient, giant spaceship that is sentient and made of a combination of robotic parts and liquefied, sentient living races that no longer exist. And he's part of the team that helps you take that down. In the second game, when you recruit him, since he made it to the third game, it means he survived the Collector base, which is a homeworld mechanical place in the center of the universe surrounded by black holes. And he fought giant insectoid beings and survived what was called in the game the suicide mission. It was a one-way trip. No one expected to live, but he made it. He made it through the other side, and he is now here. He is the expert for the Turians on the Reapers. He is considered the higher than the highest military rank during the events of 3 because he has experience fighting these ancient beings. So he is top-level military. He's run his own mercenary group. Unfortunately, he was betrayed from within and lost his crew, but he has never given up. He was Archangel, a vigilante on a literal Mos Eisley like planet. Like literally just the entire thing was crime and drugs, and it was rule of no one. It was your power let you rule. And he did house cleaning for about 6 months. He took out several of the warlords by himself, not with a team, by himself. That was the key piece. So important to note is that in Mass Effect 3, he returns with the whole crew. So he's not, a solo fighter. He does fight with other people, but we've seen that he can do very well on his own. He survived for weeks in a hand-to-hand combat with a Krogan. So he can survive if he's forced to by himself.
Weeks for him?
What?
Weeks?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
weeks by himself, hand-to-hand with a literal creature that can survive off the nutrients in his hump. So take that as you will. So specifically, one thing that we have to note is any character that has specific loadouts, we have to consider that. So specifically for loadout, for Garrus in this case, Garrus is known as an infiltrator class. In Mass Effect, that means he specializes in assault rifles and sniper rifles. So his sniper rifle of choice is the Geth-created Javelin, which its default scope can see through about 1 meter of any kind of material. It also naturally has armor piercing to the same degree, about 1 meter worth of solid anything, metal, rock, whatever. It is a hyper-focused beam of energy that goes through it. Obviously, it is a one-shot, but it doesn't require any charging. It is just a pull the trigger and it goes where it's supposed to. But because Mass Effect 3 introduced armor and weapon modifications, the weapon modifications for the Javelin is a damage barrel that increases the damage by about 15%, and a scope which increases the accuracy by about 30 roughly. So that's his sniper. His assault rifle is the Lancer assault rifle. It has unlimited ammo. It is a recharge rather than a set of ammo. The Javelin would be, at this point, without any additions, about 18 to 19 shots within it. But the Lancer is equipped with piercing ammo, so it can go up to 1 meter thick as well, but it has to have that modification in it. And it has increased ammo, so it roughly gets about 107 shots before it needs to recharge. Or, if you stop using it, it slowly recharges after about 3 seconds. He also has the natural abilities of Overload, which allows him to completely deplete shields. It can also damage organics slightly, about 5% of their overall health. He has Concussive Shot, which is essentially a bullet that does not cost any bullets, and it just does damage. He has Proximity Mines, which are proximity mines. And he also has Armor-Piercing Ammo that can increase the amount of ammo as well as the damage dealt, and adds that natural piercing increase. And then he's a Turian Rebel. I went with Sniper, increased total damage by 60%, Assault Rifle by 50%, Health and Shields by 30%, and Weapons damage by 100%, so times 2, and that's my time. Sorry,
Sean, give him some applause. I'll take it.
That's good use of your time.
Sean.
So, I'm going to start off my argument with Joe. Can I please get a one-handed, left-handed clap?
Motherfucker.
That's probably good.
So, the emphasis is my character is Crazy Hand. And that is just a taste of how crazy Hand is.
It's crazy. Well,
So, Crazy Hand is left-handed. He is the left-hand counterpart to the right-hand Master Hand. And where Master Hand is considered the god of creation, Crazy Hand is considered the god of destruction. Crazy Hand has the same attacks as Master Hand, but one of the things about Crazy Hand is they are twice as powerful as Master Hand's attacks. Crazy Hand has a variety of attacks, from poking, which may seem like it is just a random, poke attack, but he also has the tri-poke, which is an attack that has 3 different levels to it. The first level overwhelms the character with darkness. The second one, I believe, is the freezing. And then the third attack is actually a lightning attack. And those follow in quick succession. Another attack that Crazy Hand has is he is able to drop bombs, which if he drops a bomb and it hits a character, it does minimal damage. Whereas if he misses and it hits the ground, it has a shock wave that is twice as powerful and has a darkness disbursement in that attack. Another thing is he also has slaps, where he can go across the entire battlefield with a sweeping motion, hitting everything in his path. Another thing about Crazy Hands is that he doesn't just, avoid damage. He takes it. And he is a character that is hit point driven. So no matter how many attacks are hit on him, he still continues with his attack. He also has, I believe that's in Melee, where he has the ground pound,
Yes.
where the hand comes down and smashes the ground with similar shockwaves to his bombs when they hit the ground. Another thing is he has the spider crawl, where he turns into a spider form and erratically moves towards his opponent in a rushing technique. So it's kind of like he rushes at them like a tackle. I feel like he has gone up against many characters, and even a final smash doesn't fell this character. So I feel like his hit points, his erratic behavior, and his variety of elemental attacks and melee attacks, pun intended, will give him an advantage in this battle.
So as far as my rebuttals are concerned, so real quick, Garrus has taken a missile from a fucking futuristic sci-fi jet helicopter to the face and has survived. As the meme goes, he has 99 missiles, but his face took one. So he can survive some pretty crazy explosions and shit that would normally kill him. He does have that experience. I would definitely argue that while, yes, Crazy Hand is a little unhinged and has health, even in Mass Effect, Garrus himself has health, which is why I emphasize that, he does have a 30% increase to his health and shields. And that's the other thing is that, whereas in Melee and the Smash fighting games, you actively bring up your shields are a default for Garrus. Like, he has them when they're gone, it takes roughly about 5 to 10 seconds before they actively start regenerating, as long as he's not being actively hit at the time. So they do recharge. His shields, as a Turian, they're slightly higher than his health, but not like significantly amount. I would say because of the increased damage across the board, I feel like he might be able to do enough damage and survive that he could at least make it through several of Crazy Hand's attacks. Because while Crazy Hand does attack, it's not constant. That's the other thing. There is some hesitation between attacks, even on the highest difficulty of Smash in all of them. So that's my piece.
So for me, all I want to reiterate is that Crazy Hand is not a dodge. The character is specifically created and programmed to take damage. So he is a character that is used to getting hit, and he doesn't care. Yes, it will chip away at his health, but much like a Jason Voorhees kind of character, he's going to keep coming at you. So I feel like he will end up doing more damage before Garrus takes him out, because he won't care that he's getting hit.
I got no other rebuttals. So, judges, questions.
Andrew, who's going first for questions?
I think Jordan.
Yeah.
All right. So you said Crazy Hand is a hand and can take damage. So my question, Alex, because it's a hand, a giant hand, if the hand all it has to do is reach Garrus and grab him, If it and then squeeze or throw away, what would Garrus' response be to that?
So
Shield, but the shield will break. That he's taking continued damage from being squeezed or thrown or something.
So
As I said, Garrus isn't really an evasive character either.
no,
I have seen him be evasive.
but so my issue is that in the game, well, not in Mass Effect, but in Smash, whether or not Crazy Hand or Master Hand has a hold of you, you can mash out of it to get out quicker. But they do eventually let go. They don't hold you infinitely. So questionable if Garrus could survive that long. I don't know for a fact. I'm going to do a little math on my side. But that would be my thing, is that maybe he survives.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions, Jordan?
I'm gonna hold off, but I might still go back. But for now, no.
Joe, that would go to you next.
Oh man, I got questions.
Oh, Jesus.
Sean, you were saying Crazy Hand doesn't like to dodge. She likes to just take the beating and keep delivering damage. Do we know what his HP is, relative to the other characters in the game?
Well, he's a boss in the game, so it's
But he's
it's
got
more.
He's got a finite HP, but is it like
Right.
2x, 10x, 100x? Just ballpark.
I
I think you're thinking hard on this, Joe. We determined last match that health bars are kind of a faux relative thing for this.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, even in Smash, I mean, he can't be, taken off the board or anything, so his health is pretty much, it's quantitative, completely different than a regular combatant, basically.
Okay. What kind of projectile weapons or attacks does Crazy Hand have?
He has the bomb attack, where he will drop those bombs, and like I said with that, if he hits them with the attack, it does less damage. If he misses with the attack, the damage is significantly more. And then it also has a shockwave effect to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is he does have the finger lasers as well. I forgot about that. The one thing that's specific about the finger lasers, though, is you have to hit them with the tip of the laser. Like, if they just hit, the stream of the laser, it does nothing. So it's one of those where it has to hit them. It's basically a bullet. That's it.
Was it just the tip?
Yes.
Joke in there somewhere?
I don't know. It's on the tip of my finger.
What is the setting for this fight? Like, Final Destination, no items. Is there somewhere that Garrus could take cover from Crazy Hand's attacks and shoot at him from a distance? Or are we ignoring that?
that's a deeper question than we've discussed yet. What is the arena looking like?
I think we're ignoring the question because at this point, that kind of affects every other battle.
Yeah.
Okay, we can let that go. Approximate. So, we said, Crazy Hand will grab somebody, squeeze them, but if that doesn't kill them, they won't hold on forever. They'll eventually let go.
Yeah.
How does that compare to the life of Garrus' shields? If Crazy Hand grabs Garrus, and Garrus has full shields, is he just gonna squeeze him right through the shields, and then that's gonna also squeeze the life out of him, or is he gonna let go before his shields give out?
I don't know how long he's holding him for, but
It's not a long time.
I guess in Smash, if they didn't struggle, would he just hold on to them till they die?
like I said, I'm trying to remember how long. It's a set time, and then they throw you.
It's
because they're trying to throw you off the screen.
In the game, it's a minute or less, isn't it?
It's way less than a minute.
Way less.
Yeah, so it's not that long.
It's almost like Sub-Zero's free, where it's not that long.
Yeah, a couple seconds.
Okay. That's all my questions for now.
I was gonna say I've never just stayed in the grip, so
It's not super long, but it is decently like.
I am back to only having one question.
okay.
So,
Alex,
Yeah.
so luckily you're in luck that it's documented I have played Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2. So I at least know Garrus's story and history and play style. He does have some evasiveness, but I think it's a fair bet to say that, like in the Sub-Zero fight, we can assume that at some point, Crazy Hand is grabbing Garrus.
Yes.
And we've established that it wouldn't necessarily kill him, but Garrus can get out of it faster. What does Garrus have any melee weapons that he'd be able to damage the hand with while he's there? Or would he just bash with his hands? Because in Mass Effect, there hasn't been a melee weapon yet. They just kind of punch in combat.
In 3, there is. So,
Yeah,
you haven't.
And then would he use the melee weapons, or would he just pull out one of his guns and just blast him in the hand? Because if he can do damage while being held...
So this is where it comes down to those powers that I mentioned. So technically speaking, he could do Overload, which could do enough like of a shock damage of a neural, like it would cause him to jolt. So it would make Crazy Hand possibly let go. I don't know if it takes one overload or an overload, a concussive. Like his powers, he can use even if he's not have ammo or a weapon. So
what does the overload do? Is it like an electric shock?
it's an electric shock. It can be upgraded to do just shield damage, or it can be upgraded to be minor neural damage to living organic things. And that's the one I chose for it. That's why I'm saying specifically, like...
Okay, so you're not choosing the electric.
No, I'm choosing that it's more on the neural side. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's going to do some damage.
That's an important distinction for me.
Ryan, any questions from our resident scientist?
I guess I think all of my questions have kind of been answered. I will say, just on the subject of arenas, I've just kind of been assuming that if anybody has a power, it is something that we've just been kind of allowing them to do, like, up to this point, so that, like, I've just been imagining battlefields are such that everybody can, like, utilize their fighting style to some extent.
Fair.
I feel like is that like a fair thing for just moving forward? That way we don't have to ask that anymore.
If they can duck for cover, they form their cover with them.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Like half the battlefield suits one of the characters, half the battlefield suits the other type of, I don't know, like.
I'm down for that.
But anyway, I don't really have any questions. I think most of my questions were kind of asked and answered already.
Jordan, I think you said you had a follow-up question.
I have one follow-up question. Alex, does Garrus, is he going this by himself? Does he have access to any kind of support? Whether from the Normandy or his team? Or is it solely Garrus, nothing else?
So, in this sense of a tournament, it is just Garrus. Unfortunately, that means it's not... There is not an in-canon you can play as just Garrus. However, Mass Effect 3 did have a multiplayer where you could play as the different races, and they essentially made sure that each character that's a squad mate had an equivalent available. So there is a Turian infiltrator that has the same loadout as Garrus. And
then Garrus is only better because he has all of his game experience.
Correct. So the argument could be made that knowing how the Turian plays in multiplayer as someone who has sunk way more hours and way more real-life money into that than I care to admit to. It's the second highest thing I put money in, next to Rock Band. So I can definitely admit that even if it's him by himself, he still has some pretty good fighting prowess. Yes, he works better with a team, but he can do it by himself.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? All right. Do we want to roll into the vote? Do we want to
want to know the most difficult question? So,
Wait, is it going to change anyone's mind on voting?
it might, so I might not want to say it.
I would hold on to it.
Well, we haven't voted yet, so you can still say it.
All I'm
I'll
going to
allow
say
it.
is I did look up and try to get an equivalent number and everything.
Mm-hmm.
According to statistics from data miners for both Mass Effect and Smash, we have roughly a damage range from Crazy Hand of 12 to 25, but that multiplies the times he hits. So, a bomb drop will do roughly 25, but if it's multiple explosions, it's 25, 25, 25, 25. The problem is that because Smash uses percentages, it's difficult. So that's why they've looked into the code and found that there is a default number, which is also complicated because that puts Crazy Hand on the most highest difficulty. His health is 188 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's percentage in that, it equates differently, whereas Mass Effect's scale is very different. Like, Garrus has 625 points of shields and 625 points of health.
Yeah, but 1 point is not
Yes,
equivalent.
so that's why I said it wouldn't be fair to go by just those. But based off of what I can tell from damage numbers and calculations based off of, similar real-world physics, Garrus's sniper rifle is probably going to do equal damage as Crazy Hand's most powerful attack. Being completely fair and honest, it's going to
When
be.
you were deliberating and telling us about it, I figured that the sniper was his final smash.
Yeah, it is his most powerful ability because it's just the sniper is the most powerful weapon in the game. But equivalating his health, he's probably going to be similar level as Crazy Hand, but he also has the shields. That would be my only thing, is that it's not going to be the same as Crazy Hand, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, and he'll have the advantage due to the shield.
Yes. But that would be my official comparison with math and numbers and data mine data. So take that as you will.
Okay.
So, Jordan, you'll be able to cast the first vote. Yeah.
All right. This is a tough one, and I feel like this one could go either way for me. However, I think I'm going to put my vote with Crazy Hand, just because I feel like Garrus seems to be more of a long range type of combatant, and I feel like even if Garrus could supply enough damage to eventually defeat Crazy Hand, all Crazy Hand has to do is get close and grab him, which might theoretically not the final attack or anything like that. However, that kind of eliminates the use of Garrus' long-range weaponry for a little bit, because it's very hard to reload a sniper rifle when you're being crushed by a hand or slapped or something.
Yeah.
And you might get one shot off, and it's going to damage. However, I think the hand's ability to come back and just whack you. So I feel like this comes down to the fact that one can close distance better than the other, and I feel like that gives the lead to the end for me. So that's my vote.
2 to 3 second reload time. I had to picture it.
But that's still time he has to reload while he's being attacked.
I was giving support to Jordan's.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a hard call, I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna actually vote for Garrus. Jordan makes a good point about Crazy Hand being able to close the distance much faster. I think that's very valid. All of Garrus' weapons we've heard about are long distance.
Lancer, the assault rifle.
I mean, it's still a gun. It's not a knife for anything.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's where I'm going with this. I'm imagining even at close range, the assault rifle is going to help him a lot. You can fire a sniper rifle at short range. It's not good. It's a different beast. But for me, what does it is the tidbit that Garrus fought a Krogan for weeks straight in hand-to-hand combat. To me, that speaks to a really high amount of stamina and ability to take a beating. And for that reason, I think he can outlast Crazy.
Right. Legit. So, my vote is for Garrus.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Crazy Hand's own game, any character can beat him. There's...
Wow, he's a boss.
But any character can overcome him. You can also defeat any character. Now, in the game, melee characters such as Mario can beat him, but so can Link, so can Samus, Fox, all these characters who are ranged with many less weapons than Garrus can. So that counts against Crazy Hand. If he can lose to Star Fox, he can lose to Garrus.
That's a good argument.
The other thing here
After
that makes
after
my
we get the
decision,
votes, I'll say something.
the other thing that can make the difference here is the year 1994.
Oh God.
The movie Cabin Boy, one of my all-time favorite movies. This has precedence here.
Okay.
In the climax of the movie, the Cabin Boy sleeps with the giant's wife. He's six-armed goddess. The giant comes to kill him, grabs our human and holds him up, and he starts crushing him to death, much as Crazy Hand would do. Now, Cabin Boy has no powers, can't get out of the grip, but his friend, the half-man, half-shark Chalky, which is what this movie right now, you are losing your goddamn mind, helps free him by punching him in the legs and stabbing him, getting him to relinquish his grip. Once he relinquishes the grip, Cabin Boy is able to get out, kills the giant.
You know this is a one-on-one.
Oh, hey. That's my point, though. Cabin Boy had no powers, got out, killed the giant. Garrus is able to get out of that grip by doing his own attacks or just by waiting.
Cabin Boy doesn't have a shield either, does he?
Exactly.
So then...
So, Garrus, probably at least 1,000 times more of a combatant than Cabin Boy, can get out of this hand quicker on his own and fell the beast. My vote goes to Garrus.
God damn it.
All right, Sean.
So the only other thing that I would interject into that is we are going off of the basis that this is a character that's supposed to be beaten in the game. By that logic, a regular grunt can kill Garrus.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I definitely argue on the whole then to be beaten part. But, because technically any character in any game can die or win. It's a moot point, I would say. So, Ryan.
Okay. I am going to vote for Garrus.
Holy shit!
Simply because, as somebody who has played through all of the Mass Effect games, I've seen Garrus take down, helicopters and, other gigantic, very difficult things that also have lasers and missiles and pretty much every little, arsenal that Crazy Hand would have.
Don't ruin the final boss of 2 for Andrew, because that's going to be a fun one.
Remember the time we played that game again?
You might. It's pretty memorable, but...
Yeah, I'm not gonna... But I've seen Garrus fight some pretty messed up stuff and come out the other side, so that's where I'm going with my vote.
Equal sizes of Crazy Hand.
I feel that was a very good...
That is a hard one, though. I would say.
okay, so I was right. As Andrew was talking about Cabin Boy, the same actor that plays Cabin Boy is also the same actor that had a strong hand in Scary Movie 2.
Yeah.
That happened to be his own little
Chris.
crazy left hand.
Chris motherfucking Elliott.
So,
any final words from either combatants here? You guys are going right at it again.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I, honest to God, thought Crazy Hand was going to win. And I was arguing for Garrus.
I was on the other side. I was thinking Garrus was going to win. So
Clearly, that shows that this was not just a easy match. This was something that we both were struggling with.
I had to go to a movie from 1994 to decide. So
That's why they play the game, though, isn't it?
So, all
a
right.
great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Preferably drunk or high.
Oh, could we watch it for After Dark?
I will watch it 100 times in a row. You do not have to ask me to watch
I want
it.
to watch Abominable again.
you heard this.
Come back next
This
time.
episode was brought to you by Kevin.
1994.
Garrus is moving on.
Another matchup between Alex and I in the next round with Nathan Spencer versus Mewtwo.
That's kind of interesting. Come back and see what the fuck happens in that one.
Who knows?